Hello, sorry, I can't be with you today, and thank you for organizing that very, very important conversation, because it's really a moment of urgency for the whole world and for Europe in particular. And I think this notion that climate and security are fundamentally linked, well, it's just true, just simply true. We see the impact, what climate change impact can do on societies. We see how much in Europe we have to must our climate goals in the right direction, and we don't have to change, because we can't choose between defense and climate change and decarbonization. That will be an enormous mistake. The technological revolution is on. The direction of travel is really very, very evident. So if Europe would look just for defense in the traditional sense and not think security more globally, we will miss the train. We can't miss the train again. Many economies, and particularly China economy, has gone further and farther and faster on a number of technologies. We can't delay anymore this. And the threats we are faced are linked. There is evidently such a destabilizing impact of climate change on our society that reshaping totally the security landscape. And you know, even military leaders I talked to in the Munich Security Conference last March, well, they agreed that in February, that really that one of the concerns they have, and of course, evidently, because all the consequences you can imagine. So energy security in particular is of course the first element of this dimension of security. So there are many people since many years that have said it's really dangerous to rely on so massively on Russian gas. And of course, it happened that we see that energy can be a weapon. It can be weaponized, and it has been weaponized. And that, I think, when the short-term thinking prevailed for the moment, and we paid the price during the 2022-2023 energy crisis, just because we were so dependent, we didn't have alternative at hand. And now we're paying even this energy very expensively, because of course the only solution was to go for LNG imports. So real energy security means investing in renewable, in particular the storage, and above all the grids. We need good grids, smart grids that can integrate this intermittent energy that is now cheaper, but require, of course, technological advances in the way we connect and we distribute electricity. But it's not energy, it's not just energy, it's impact of climate. We know are a risk multiplier. Migration is of course an element evidently, but the large-scale crop failures that we have seen already in the past, causing storage and price shock, the food security is absolutely linked with, of course, climate disasters. And you know, the sad story is that climate impacts, disasters, are already being exploited by those who wish Europe harm. After last year devastating floods across Eastern Europe, Polish intelligence service found a spike in disinformation campaigns linked to the Kremlin, so that the floods, a theory of really complotist people saying it was provoked by the government. So we need really, they were trying, and it's happened each time. It happened in Spain, it happened of course in Poland. They want to discredit the emergency response of government that does what they can sometimes, and really sow the mistrust in our society. So climate impact, whenever they deny that climate is happening, they deny the solution for climate change, but then they use the climate disasters as a way to undermine public institutions. So we have to resist that, to understand, spread information, and really make people conscious of this manipulation. So this already a hybrid warfare that is really happening today around this. And again, we have seen that recently, even last year and this year. Investment in resilience, because we can't think that resilience is something so evident. We can't think it for granted. It requires new thinking, new data, and new investment. You know, when infrastructure will collapse, a road or a train or railways or cities, equipment, it costs a lot, And we don't know sometimes how to respond to that. The floods are, unfortunately, a very dramatic experience. Just think about Germany 2 or 3 years ago, how many people died, or in Valencia, how many people died because of non-preparation. So I think we need a whole of society approach in the EU preparedness for resilience and union strategy. So I think this, you know, there are civil infrastructure, security infrastructure. The frontier is very blurry because it's the same, because it's the security of people. And that's why I think we should, it's very important, of course, to invest in defense, but it's very important too to think that security is just much broader, that we're really building more tanks, more ammunition, and more military capacity. Grids, energy grids, transport networks, digital system. We know all these are all dual-use assets. So important to pay attention to them, to invest in them, and then they can provide, and for the progress of our society, as well for our hardcore security. And this investment, in my view, deserves the same fiscal treatment as a classic defense procurement. So certainly you will hear me in the future say this investment, that dual-use investment, deserves the same treatment vis-à-vis, in particular, the evaluation of the debt of nations. So European unity, I do think the only credible response, and I think on defense it's really coming now to everybody's mind, is a unity of Europe. Let's look at the people who are really in the street calling to be in Europe, like in Georgia or Serbia, and that want a European democracy. That is really important, that we say unity of Europe is own solution for security, united and not afraid of the future. You know, they count on our fear and our disunion and our divided. We should really be united at that particular moment. But you know, if we do this right, it's an enormous opportunity for Europe. We'll be more stronger, more sovereign, more able, and protect the social contract that is embedded in the European project, which is peace, security, and democracy at the same time. So your work is very important. Continue, and we'll be ahead with you together for that.